Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by the Howell hockey coach, Rocky Johnson. How's it going?
Hey, Case, good to see you, man. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year coming up.
You as well. So let's talk. It's been a while since you guys have been on the ice, so I figured we'd have you on to kind of preview the next half of the year. So kind of really talk about just how you guys have been doing this year. I know you got a young team and you've played some really good teams. A lot of good teams have came into to the 140 ice den.
Yeah, it's the schedule is what the schedule is, right? If you want to be the best teams in the state, you have to play the best teams in the state. And it may have been a little bit too much to chew the first part of the season with this young group, but we have a lot of skilled players. And right now, it's really trying to figure out who they are. I think the 9 games that we played, 4 of which against playoff caliber hockey teams throughout the state, I think certainly gives us an idea of who everybody is on our team, where they fit, what they can accomplish and what they can't accomplish. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes coming up the second half. We're going to have some personnel changes. We're going to try to put the players in the right position to be successful as a staff and start focusing on things that are going to lead us to being successful against those championship teams.
Yeah. So I know, and of course, as many hockey teams around Livingston County have, it's a really impressive schedule. You've played Flint Powers, Byron Center, Brighton. You're going to play Heartland in the year, and you guys are going up to Traverse City in the second half of the year. So let's talk about some of the opponents that you've gotten to come here. Like the Byron Centers, like Flint Powers, Saline. To kind of talk about that for a second.
Obviously, as you mentioned, the KLAA in Livingston County has a very brutal group of teams. So it's tough to go through all of them. Let's not just talk about Brighton and Heartland. You got Salem, you got Stevenson, you've got all of those, the Livonia schools, Churchill, all of them. It's just a tough league. So, we kind of balance the idea of who do we play a non-conference schedule against? I have some really good friends. The folks out in Byron Center are wonderful people. That we have a great friendship. Granville, who we weren't able to schedule this season because of their scheduling. It's great to have those guys come in. It's not a traditional team Howard would play, but those are the teams that you have to face coming into the playoffs. You can go 18-7, you can go 22-3, and then play one game in the regional tournament and you're out. So it's kind of that balance. How far and how deep do you want to go? Flint Powers, with Travis, he's a good friend and we support them in the summers. And so he supports us. He comes. I wish we could give those guys better games. We've got Cranbrook coming up, of course, Heartland, Salem. You just mentioned the Traverse City North-South Showcase, which we're super excited to be invited to. But we ended up drawing Bay City on the first game on a Friday, which is just a tough competition. Waking up in the morning and playing them, and then we got Marquette on Saturday. You want to talk about a top team in the state of Michigan. So we have a bear, but it's trying to get these kids to understand that we're building inch by inch every day, and with losses comes learning, with wins comes learning. But I think this group of kids need to understand that there's more to hockey than waiting out by the red line to try to score goals. That works in travel hockey. It doesn't work in high school hockey, as you know.
Yeah. So this second half of the season, and I know you mentioned you're going to change some things up. What kind of things are we going to expect in these, kind of preview these next few games that you have coming up for Howell?
Well, at the beginning of the season, the Coaches Association had a nice meeting with what's called the Prospect Exchange. It's an analytical tool. There's so many out there, but so we partnered with them. And what it's been able to allow us as a staff to do is look at the metrics, the analytics with our players. The eye test is pretty obvious. It's funny, as coaches, the eye test actually does tell the story. But when you have now analytics that are really in depth, zone entries, zone exits, giveaways, all kinds of things, it tells you way beyond the plus minus. And what we've learned with this group of young men is that coming from all the disparate areas they've come from to join our team this year, there's a lack of defensive play. Overall defensive play. And I highlight that with, and I mean team defense, not the defenseman necessarily. I'm talking about an overall team defense, a concept that everybody has to work together in order to be successful. We're not worried about scoring goals. We have some skilled players. That's not a worry of ours. However, when you unpack the analytics in the 4 playoff teams that we've played, Byron Center, Flint Powers, Brighton, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, we've been outscored 23-6. You know, you can't win games against championship teams when you let in 23 goals in 4 games. I mean, that's almost 6 goals a game. And those are mostly 5-on-5. It's not like we're getting killed with penalties, which we are, but that's a lack of overall team defense concepts. And that's a coach's issue. So we are going to attack that. Some of the players that are not necessarily focused on that part of the game are going to have an opportunity to be successful with our development team. And hopefully they can develop into that because they have so much skill. We want them back. But at the end of the day, we need players who are willing to learn, to be taught what a 200-foot game is, how to make sure that other teams don't get shots off. You just can't say I'm a great player because on one shift I scored a goal. Well, what did you do the 17 other shifts? And if you've got 1 goal for and 4 goals against, that's not a good game. And it's teaching these young men that that's important. So I think we're going to focus on overall team defense. Listen, our kids can score. Our kids can play. We're going to let them go play. You're in the offensive zone. Go do what you do. I mean, we have some things we want them to focus on, but at the end of the day, you're skilled. Go put the puck in the net. But when it comes to the other 2/3 of the ice, you need to focus on angling. You need to focus on, backtracking. You need to focus on forcing them to do what we want them to do. We need to manage that better in our zone and in the neutral zone so that we can then attack. That's our philosophy. That's what we're going to work on. I know I'm rambling right here, but we've done a lot of work over the last couple of days on this, looking at that stuff. And Casey, at the end of the day, if you don't want other teams to shoot on our net, the best way to do that, the number one best way to keep them from shooting is to possess the puck. And if we possess the puck, they don't. And then the second best thing is to regain possession when you do happen to lose it. So those are the 2 things we're going to focus on: possessing the puck and regaining possession. It's that simple.
So going in, I know you've also before the game you have this kind of explain this. If you follow, on Instagram or Twitter, you see this before the game or after the game. What's this award called that the players give out?
So listen, you want team unity. And we want the players to be invested in each other. And that's been a challenge with this group because they've come from so many different areas in terms of their hockey backgrounds. But you want them to come together as a team. So, the idea of the Hard Hat Award or the Player of the Game Award or what have you, and, talking with the captains, Jalen Del Toro and Hayden Sturos, we came up with this. It's a funny story. We just happened to see that helmet that was, in our colors, or at least the new colors, sitting in an office at the athletic office. And I said, hey, can I have that for the year? And they let us use it. And so we talked to them, and the idea kind of came organically. Let's suggest who we feel played at least a positive game, regardless of the score. And let's let them talk. Let's give them the award. So the previous winner takes the helmet, which is in their stall until the next game. And then what they do is they talk a little bit about the player that earned it for that game very quickly. And then that player's, speech, they now have to talk about what they felt was good and bad. And, it's fun for the kids a little bit. It's, they're shy and they're not necessarily online doing those sort of things, but I think it's fun. The kids seem to enjoy it. It's been positive. So we'll continue with that. And again, it's about bringing the kids together for unity. It's about them investing in themselves. Right now we have a lot of me hockey. And what we need to create is a we type of a hockey. And I think it's coming. It just, baby steps with the younger group.
Absolutely. You mentioned about, your development team. Kind of talk about how that's been going.
It's really worked out well over the course of the last 3-4 years. We've been able to develop some players and have them come in. Some years you're fortunate, like a Brighton and a Heartland, and they could bring in kids from elsewhere, the AAA kids that decide to play for their senior year. We've not been that lucky the last 3-4 years, although we do have a few players that come in from other teams. So we want to invest the time into teaching them, again, the 200-foot game. This is not pond hockey. this is high school hockey. I think a lot of folks don't realize how good the high school hockey is in Michigan, especially in the KLAA, especially with the schedule that we maintain. So I think they don't realize that. And so if we can get them early as freshmen and teach them and develop that skill. I mean, our development team head coach, we don't call it a JV, although that's really what it is in essence. We want to teach and develop. That's our goal. And if we can teach and develop, 2 or 3, 4 kids and have them work hard and then move into a position where they can support the varsity team, that's what we want to accomplish. It also gives us an opportunity for, we have our fourth liners and maybe our seventh defenseman who maybe doesn't get the ice time at the varsity level because they're just not quite there yet. And I highlight the word yet, and that's what these kids don't understand. They, every time you jump to a new level, you might not be there yet. So now we're going to take, 3, 4, 5 of those players and let them go play at the development team level, which is a little bit slower, and have them have some success, have them have some opportunity to raise the level of those players that are there and have some success and be able to accomplish the things they want to accomplish and get playing time. They'll still practice, and we practice at a high pace, but we feel, again, I didn't make this up. I stole it from the National Team Development Program. I've stole it from junior teams. I've stole it from college teams. They all have a pocket players who play and practice and develop. I played professionally in the minor leagues, and that was the goal, was to develop players and get them up when there's an opportunity. So, if you can do that with these kids, it's hard for them. They don't understand. They think it's a punishment. It's not. It's about them having success and then taking that success model and then playing at a faster pace with the varsity games and developing those kids. So that's what we're trying to do. I mean, several of the kids that we have now played on that development team, and they're better for it, we believe.
Yeah. The response from, of course, if you've been following Howell in the last year, of course, you may know the uniform change with several teams in there. How have people responded to that? From people that I've talked to, it looks like the classic Howell look is back.
Yeah.
But obviously, the most popular ones are we going to see the all yellow uniforms back?
Well, I can tell you this. That was a bold statement the first day.
Yes.
I think the kids took it very well and enjoyed it. I'm not so sure some of the older fans liked it very much. There's been feedback, positive and negative. Honestly, like I said, it's organic. I want to leave it up to the kids. We did go back old school with the design. Our former development team coach, now associate coach, Lucas Villarader, came up with our greens. We kind of took a pattern that I grew up with back in Boston for a successful team with our goals. And, the kids like the design, but I don't know if we'll see the all gold. That's up to them. If they want to wear green shells, gold shells, the green jerseys, the gold jerseys, that's up to them. We did break out the previous years and previous colors, white jerseys for the Brighton game, which the athletic director allowed us to do, but that's probably not going to happen a lot. I think, our colors are green and gold, and that's what we're going to go with. And I think overall the design is a popular design. But I like the all gold because it does make a statement, but if you're going to wear that all gold, you got to go out and make a statement. And right now, I don't know if the players are ready for that. That's up to them. So we have fun with it. We let them make the decision, and we move on from there.
And just let's talk about these next few games, just so the people watching this interview kind of preview what's kind of coming up for Howell.
Well, so right off the bat, we have a week of practice with both teams. Salem is Saturday, and Salem's been a nemesis for Howell ever since I've been here. Very well coached. Of course, there was a coaching change, but I don't expect the coaching to be any different. I think they're a very strong team, and they compete, and that's really what we need to learn, is competing for the whole 51 minutes. We haven't been able to do that yet. We've been able to maintain our compete level and our intensity level and urgency for about a period and a half. Unfortunately, you can't play good teams like Salem and have success with that model. So, That's going to be a tough game. We're going to prepare for that. But like I said, we've made some changes, personnel changes. We'll get with the players on Monday and we'll discuss those with them, what that means and what it looks like. But I think we're going to have a positive situation going into that Salem game. I know we have to work on our power play. Our power play unit has been abysmal. Um, Actually, it's been very poor. It's not Howell like. So that is going to have a lot of work. We're going to tinker with that a lot and personnel wise and what we try to accomplish. So we'll work on that. And I think we ride into Salem, hopefully with a positive mindset. Then we have, Sundays off, and then we hit it Monday and Tuesday to get ready for Heartland. Now we all know they're returning state champs for Division II. They moved up. I don't like that word, moving up to Division I, because that's really a fallacy. The tougher teams a year ago were in Division II, save Brighton and CC. And that means no disrespect to the other teams in Division I, but Division II has always been a powerhouse. So I think they're going to fare well. And, listen, we got our work cut out for us. But, talking with Ricky Gadwa, they don't like coming to the 140 ice stand.
Yeah.
It's kind of a home field advantage, but we need to take advantage of that and play with intensity and match it. So it'll be a good game, and it's going to be fun. It's exciting. We'll have a group of kids that we're going to use for that and go forward. And, our development team plays Heartland on Friday. So, we're hoping with the changes made and as that goes, they can raise the level of intensity and have some success there. And then they have UD Jesuit on Saturday. So we're looking at that. We're looking to see who really wants to play, who really has the heart, has the mindset to be a hockey player. It's Casey, it's one thing to be a hockey player and another thing, just go out and play hockey.
Yeah.
Two different things. And we need to have some hockey players step up and decide that they want to be hockey players and do what it takes to be a hockey player. And then after that, we go up to Traverse City on Thursday. We play, my gosh, Bay City on Saturday, and then we come right back with Marquette on Friday, and then we come back with Marquette on Saturday. We'll take the full complement of players for that. We'll give them a go and see how that works, and then move forward. We're still trying to find a number one goaltender, right? We've been going off and on with both guys, and I think we believe through the analytics and through our eye test what we've seen, and we'll see how that works. But we got to see how it develops and goes forward. But second half is key. We've got 16 games, and I think we can be very successful in those 16 games. Again, if the coaches do the right work and focus the players, and the players come with intensity and decided they want to be hockey players.
All right. Well, Rocky Johnson, thank you so much for always taking the time, and appreciate all you do for Howell hockey and the hockey community.
We're going to give our best shot, and we love the community. And listen, Casey, we can't thank you guys enough for what you do. The work you guys do behind the scenes and doing these podcasts and interviewing everybody. It's really important for the players. It creates the atmosphere. This is the best time of their lives, and hopefully, they enjoy it and they appreciate what you guys do and those folks. So thank you again. We appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you soon.